This is Glenn Healy.
Hi, this is Braden Holtby.
This is Daryl Sutter.
Hi, this is Brian Burke.
This is Jordan Tutu.
This is Keith Morrison.
This is Kelly Rudy.
Hi, this is Scott Hartnell.
Hey everybody, my name is Steele Fleury.
This is Tim McAuliffe of Sportsnet, and you're listening to the Sean Newman Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, folks. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great week here. This is the oldest guy I've ever sat down with, so pretty cool experience for me. 99 years of life, of history. It's you're going to get to hear it firsthand, Vernon, and a little bit about his life and some stories and everything else. But before we get there, let's get to today's episode sponsors. Jen Gilbert and the team for over 45 years, since 1976, the dedicated realtors of Coldwell Banker, Cityside Realty, have served Lloydminster and surrounding area. They offer star power to their clients. That is 7-day-a-week access, because they know big life decisions are not made during office hours. And did you know when it comes to rental properties, they are the biggest licensed residential property management company in the city of Lloydminster. They deal with over 250 rental units. We're talking houses, apartments, and condos. That's Coldwell Banker, Cityside Realty, for everything real estate, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give them a call, 780-875-3343. Mac Construction, they've been doing business locally for over 12 years now with 100 homes completed. They are a design, build, custom home building operation that specializes in constructing custom homes, cottages, and RTMs. And they also, in addition to the custom home building, they also do extensive renovations to residences and light commercial work. If you're looking to build your dream house, head to macconstruction.ca and look no further. Jim Spenrath and the team down at Three Trees Tap and Kitchen. I keep bringing up the couple of different beverages they have on tap. They got the Thunder Alley Pilsner, and of course Siding 14 brewery now on tap, so you can go for some local breweries in Ribstone Creek, 4th Meridian, and now this Siding 14 from Ponoka, so that's pretty cool. Go give it a taste and see what you think. Follow along on their social media. They're constantly giving away gift cards, and all you got to do is follow and interact. And if you're taking the special someone for a nice evening, make sure you book a reservation. Don't be like this guy. Give him a call, 780-874-7625. Kiva Concrete since 1979. Yes, the year of the glorious Edmonton Oilers coming in the NHL. Kiva Concrete was formed. Hopefully the Oilers will be, hopefully looking better than they have been. Who am I kidding? Hopefully Connor McDavid scores about 180 points and they get past the first round of playoffs. That's a side note. Kiva Concrete is a family-owned and operated business for almost 42 years now. 42 years now. They have offered concrete services, residential, decorative, and commercial flat work. You just got to go check out their Instagram, folks. Do a little creep in, and see some of the things they've done. I mean, in town, go check out Spiro's Patio. While we still got a few of these nice September nights, go check out the handiwork of Kiva Concrete there. Of course, Elk Ridge Resort, they did the new countertops for. But if you hop on their Instagram, you can just see all the different things they're doing. They specialize in commercial, agriculture, and residential, of course. Basement floors, driveways, sidewalks, patios, garage pads, shops, barns, and countertops. Essentially, if you can dream it, they can do it. Give Chris a call today, 780-875-7678. HSI Group, they're the local oil field burners and combustion experts. They can help make sure you have a compliant system working for you. The team also offers security, surveillance, and automation products for residential, commercial, livestock, and agricultural applications. When I was doing the tour of Prophet River, I did notice that HSI was installing some security there, so I'll be interested to see what they got in store for the new Prophet River building. But if you're looking to, keep your house safe, your business safe, you got some livestock that are going to be out in minus 40 here, hopefully not for a couple months, but soon enough. Give the boys over at HSI Group a call, 306-825-6310, or stop in 3902 52nd Street. If you're looking for any outdoor signage, give the team over at Read and Write a call, 306-825-5111. I suggest hassling Mrs. Deanna Wandler. I mean that in the best sense. She's fantastic what she does. She'll get you set up. And finally, Gartner Management is a Lloydminster-based company specializing in all types of rental properties to help meet your needs. Whether we're looking at a small office or a 6,000 square foot commercial space, give Wade Gartner a call, 780-808-5025. And if you're heading into any of these businesses, let them know you heard about them from the podcast, right? Now, let's get on to that T-Bar 1 tale of the tape. Born in 1922, he's 99 years old, went to school at Tyrone Country School, was stationed in Halifax during World War II. He was married for 65 plus years until he lost his wife. He's a family man, volunteer, and community pillar. I'm talking about Vernon Marlatt. So buckle up, here we go. Okay, it's January 24th, 2021. I'm sitting with Vernon Marlatt. So first off, Vernon, thanks for sitting down and allowing me to do this. Now, you're 98 years old 2 weeks ago.
Closer to 9 months ago.
9 months ago?
August.
Oh, it's August. Oh, I guess I read the report wrong. August. So you're closing in on 99.
Yeah.
How does 98 feel?
No different. Any other age. No. Hadn't bothered me too much. Still up and going.
Well, you were born in 1922. That's an awful long time ago, dude. What's the first thing when you look back that you can remember about growing up in the 20s?
Well, there wasn't much money in circulation. I grew up. I didn't know what money was. I till I was about 18. Well, worked, did the chores and helped on the farm. Got my board and room and clothes. You couldn't wish for any more. For this. There's quite a few men on the road looking for jobs.
And no work?
No work. And then the box cars going to town was loaded with them. Traveling from one end of the country to the other, looking, hoping for work. Odd one would get off and go out and see if they could get a job and do anything. They get something to eat.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think right now of COVID? You like I say, you've lived a lot of years. You've seen, when people talk about the different outbreaks that have come through, the different hard times that have come through. You're a man who's lived through majority of them.
Well, it's something we may never get over with. Because it's going to change a lot of things. A lot of shops and people out of work. No, this is just about as bad as, maybe worse than the war. And the war, all kinds of money. But this here is too many going to lose their livelihood because people had to be isolated. And I figured maybe that's the biggest mistake that got everybody in a group. Catch it and get it over with. I think they're just prolonging it. What it is for how many? There's about 6,000 came down today in Canada. And I think there's no end to it for quite a while. The vaccine or the shots aren't going to help too much, but they're coming too late.
Going back to the war, you mentioned it's maybe worse than the war. Could you maybe walk us through some of what you remember about the war years?
Well, I joined up. The war was going on for a year or better, and I joined up and got into the Air Force in '42, and took a aero engine mechanic course. I was in it till '45 when I got discharged. And as far as that war, I was calm because I went to Saskatoon, took a basic course, and then I went to Vernon, took the physical course, and then I went to St. Thomas and took the mechanic course in the winter of '42 for two months. And then I got stationed at Lethbridge. And it was what got me in bomber training school, and I worked on I think it was bombing planes that drop bombs for.
Are you talking about Lancaster bombers?
No, the Lancasters were all overseas.
They were overseas.
Yeah. We just trained in small engine planes.
Okay.
And they had 9-cylinder, biggest motors in them. And I worked on those motors. There was group of four of us in a group, and we worked on engine. Checked them over every time they came back in. And did that for, I don't know, about 3 years, and then they closed Lethbridge out, and I was shipped to North Battleford. Well, I worked on a smaller plane. then I was towards the end of then I was there about maybe a year, North Ballaport, and then we got isolation postings for overseas. But we didn't get there. We just got to Halifax. That's when the war ended. We quit. But I got to Halifax and then they moved us to Greenwood, Nova Scotia for about 6 months, and then the Lancasters came in to train for the Jap War. And then as soon as they came in, we were moved over to New Brunswick, to Pitt Hill Ridge. We're called cold storage. But I got a chance to work on what they call a mosquito aircraft. I think of that, 12 cylinders. That took me up, tested out.
So you got to fly it.
No, I didn't fly it. I just went for the ride.
How was that? It could really go?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 hours. Takes, turn it, fly upside down, everything.
What'd you think of that?
Oh, okay. I said, you look down there, there's the border between the States and Canada. We can't go that any further south. But that's where I ended up at. I came home and fall. All during the years, I'm allowed to come home for harvest leave.
You used to leave the war effort to come home to help for harvest. Really?
Well, we're just in there training pilots. Then we had so much leave, a month's leave, come to us every year anyway. So we had and they were short of labor.
Well, all the guys are off fighting. So you come back home and lend a hand. Would it just be on your farm, your parents' farm, or would you be helping all the neighbors and everything?
Well, Dad had his own outfit, fashion machine, and he did half a dozen neighbors. Not every fall, and I helped there. Had to help stoke. You know what stoking is?
Is it tying up?
Yeah. The binders went ahead with binders, but cut the grain and elevated it, and wrapped it, and tied it, made what they call cheese. And there was a carrier on the binder that left them then 5, 6 G's in a dump. Came these machines to go so far, and then we'd come along and stick them up.
My, how farming has changed over your time. What's the best piece of machinery the farm ever got?
What? Well, I don't remember. I suppose that tractor would be number one, but we had a tractor which run the thrash machine. That's what it did. We didn't use it for field work at all. It was all horses. Like I was brought up with horses.
How young would you have been when you started working with a team of horses?
Well, I must have been 35. Well, ever since I was 10 years old, maybe. 85 years. Well, went to school. We had a Indian pony we got from the neighbors when we started school. And they pretty well seen us through our school days. Horses and probably used it when my brothers and sisters got old enough. Put the horse in the buggy and we'd go to school. In the wintertime, put shafts on, put a horse up on the cutter and go to home school in the cutter.
When you talk about in the 20s or your earliest memories is you didn't know what money was. You had no idea.
No.
Could you maybe talk a little bit about that? I don't know if even I fully understand what you mean by that. There was just everything was trading goods. Is that what you mean? You'd trade some milk or money was hard to come by, so you only had 25 cents here and there? Or
Yeah. We milk cows, separate the milk, and sold cream, and Mother used to make butter, and they put it in pound packages. And we'd take that to town, trade it for, the storekeeper would take for grocery money. We never hardly paid for groceries other than through eggs and cream, butter. So, but it was very little money changed hands. I guess Dad did all the money work, for he's the one that bought the big stuff. But think the only time I really seen money when I went to Vernon School of Agriculture in 38, 39, and 40, 2 years. They gave me a few dollars for spending money. They paid for the college, but as far as giving me money, well,
What was your college days like? What was it like moving to Vermilion?
well, it was different. We lived. I had to go to Vermilion on the train and stay there because there's no travel back and forth today. They live here and go there, back and forth. I had to get on the train and go to Vermilion. This was October to December, and then we got it home for Christmas for a week. Then I had to go back till April, 1st of April, then come back. I was there for 4 or 5 months. And we were in the dorm. All I took was 75 boys. And there were 75 girls on the other side, like 2 dorms. And I was bunked with 2, but there was two of us in a room. And my partner was from Banff.
He was from Banff?
Banff, Alberta.
Yeah.
He's one of the sons that ran the tour, horses that took people on tour on horseback
Okay.
through the mountains.
Through the mountains.
He was a son of that. His name was Brant. He took the 2 years course too. But as soon as he got out, he joined up. And I don't think he got overseas for 2 months, and that was it. I never seen any more of him, but he was killed.
Mm. In going to Lakeland, what were you hoping to do after you graduated?
Well, I was taking an agriculture course.
So you're just trying to learn more about farming?
No. I got my diploma in agriculture. Then war broke out, and Dad said, "Well, you better join up." So I did. From 38 to 45, I was home for 1 year, and then
The rest of the time you're in Vermilion or Lethbridge or Saskatoon or Halifax, all over the place.
yeah.
When war broke out, do you remember, can Can you remember, was it just you read about it in the newspaper? Did you hear it on the radio? How big a news was it? And was it like, oh my goodness, we're into a war? Or was everybody excited about it?
Well, we heard about radio. Radio was
The means back then.
the main outlet. But as far as myself, I didn't know too much about it. I never listened. I was busy trying to get get my education.
And chasing girls, I bet.
No, it wasn't too bad. Could if you want to, but they're pretty strict. Well, I was the youngest one. I was just about 18. The rest of the boys were maybe got a little more education, or some of them were in their 20s or that. And they knew more about life outside than I did, because I was just a farm boy and went to town maybe once a week, maybe not that. But last year was there, but I didn't know too much about going on in town because we're near St. Town. I think, as a family, I don't think we hurt. We're better off than a lot of people. But we had our own milk, right? 6, 7 cows, had pigs, had their own beef, bred cows.
Self-sufficient.
And ran about 20 head of horses for work. Had 2 6-horse outfits. I ran a 6-horse outfit. As soon as I got out of school, was 15, 16. I had 6 horses. I had to take care of them, harness and feed. I hooked them onto a 2-bottom plow, pump. Went 32 miles a day. 11 in the morning and 11 at night, afternoon.
A lot of hard work.
Well, I just work.
But compared to today,
Oh yeah, today, but they don't know what work is. Well, they give you a tractor that pretty runs and all you have to do is press button and sit there.
yeah, it's a different world we live in now.
Oh yeah. Now, I worked. I got a tractor, a one-way desk through farm credit after the war, but my dad and brother run the tractor and I run the horses. They did the seed with the one-way disc. I don't know if you know what a one-way disc is. But not 9.5 foot. They did seed with that. I might have did some seeding with it. The drill, 6 horses on a drill. I forget now. But I run the horses. 6 horses on 6 sections of harrows. We had a cart. Some farmers did a cart. The hired man had to walk behind him, drive the 6 horses. Some rode horseback. We happened to have a cart, so it drove 6 horses, sitting on a cart, spread out. On the 6 horses on the plows, 3 ahead and 3 behind.
To move the plow.
Yeah.
How long a days would you go doing this?
Oh, some days, some mornings we're out in the field at 6 o'clock in the morning. And the days weren't very long for horses because they had to be. We worked till 11:30, got them in, fed them. Like I had to get up at 4 o'clock, round the horses up,
Yeah.
put them in the barn, feed them, throw harness on them, go and have breakfast, and have them out in the field hooked up around 6 o'clock till after. Horses were shorter days than they do with tractors.
You think?
Well, some of them work 12, 15 hours on a tractor.
On a horse, you couldn't do that.
No. But some of these farmers sit on a tractor 10, 12 hours a day. And they do as much in 2 hours. We could, in a week.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how much land you can farm now with the technology.
Well, some of these guys with 20,000 acres I think a small farmer is could be 600 acres now.
How many acres did you guys have back when you were on your parents' farm?
I think we had I think we had 3/4,
Okay.
and we farmed 50-50. Half summer, follow half.
Grain.
And of the 3/4 would be Well, I think it was 480 acres. We made a farm. I don't know, probably 400 acres, maybe 350. So they put 135 acres in Summer Falls. And that was all horses.
Do you remember Lloydminster back then?
Nope,
Was it even
we didn't know
when you talk about going to town? Where did you go to town to?
Lashburn.
Lashburn. Never ever to Lloyd.
Maybe once a year to the fair, but that's all.
Wasn't anything to go to Lloyd for
No.
that you couldn't get in
Oh,
Lashburn.
it's
That
too
is.
far away. Had to go travel with horses. Take about 4 hours to come.
4 hours one way to get to Lloyd.
Well, horses,
Yeah. Well, and no double laned highway.
nope. It was gravel road. My granddad, he used to come. Granddad had 2 families. Say, the older boys, my dad, my 2 uncles came from Ontario in 1904.
Yeah.
And Grandma raised, had the 4 older ones. Then I lived 3 or 6 years, and they were raised in Lashburn. And so to get to high school, they had to come to Lloyd. So Grandpa used to bring the kids up and stay in Lloyd here to educate them. And Grandpa had a pacer, a horse that they hooked to the cutter. They call it a pacer. And they used to come to Lloyd. And they said he'd make Lloyd in 20 minutes. Oh, there's no fences, no, just
Yep.
party. A horse could really move.
You mentioned no fences. Do you remember then when all the fences were going up?
Fences?
Yeah.
Oh, we must have had fences because we had cattle,
Yeah.
horses, pigs. So
Was it all? I mean, highly doubt with pigs and everything. It was barbed wire, but around where you had the cattle, did you have barbed wire fences back then?
uh,
Would you have to by hand string out all the barbed wire? I suppose you would.
cricket roll.
Yeah.
Couldn't the same as that's the day. But we didn't fence off the section or like towards the end. There was all kinds of fences up, quarter sections of that. Because people got more livestock and then some of them couldn't get along, so they put a fence up. You stay off.
Stay out of my land.
So,
How about communication? You know, now we have devices that go with us everywhere, i.e. this little thing. Back then, you would not have had anything remotely close to that. What do you remember about, you know, the 7 years you were away from home? I assume you wrote letters back and forth to your parents, maybe.
no. Train.
Train was a big one?
No. Only way.
Only way?
No.
So if you wanted to get from here to Lethbridge, you were on the train.
No.
And was that like they had passenger trains going everywhere, any which way you wanted to go, kind of like the bus system?
Well, it had one would go east at, east at 6 o'clock in the morning, go east. 12 o'clock at night, we go west. Every day there was 2 trains, one west, one east. If you want to go to Ballabert, you have to catch the 6 o'clock one and go to Ballabert. Then stay there till 10 o'clock at night and come back on the train at 12 o'clock.
Did you like traveling by train?
I had no choice.
But did you look forward to getting on the train and being like, man, we're cruising compared to trying to walk this or ride a horse through this, or were you like, man, this train sucks and I can't wait to get off of it?
Well, we didn't have any fancy seats like they have today. And we didn't have any sleepers. Like, I traveled back and forth from the East Coast 3 times for harvest work, like.
All on the train.
All on a train.
How long of a train would that be?
Oh, 5 or 6 cars.
How many days on the train from the East Coast?
Oh, I think it's 36 hours.
You know, it's interesting. That's one thing that, I mean, people still take the train. It's not like there isn't passenger trains. There certainly are, but they have disappeared.
Oh,
Almost no need for them anymore. When was the first time you took a plane? Like a passenger plane?
first time?
Yeah.
I think when I went down to
Nevada?
Nevada.
When you were 91? That was the first time you got on a passenger plane. There was no... back when you were in Halifax, stationed in the Air Force, they didn't think to throw you guys in some sort of plane and fly across the country to get you home?
No. They didn't have such a thing.
Didn't have such a thing. What did you think at 91 when you got on your first plane? Were you going, geez, that's pretty good?
Oh, yeah. Oh. No. They didn't have any choice. If you wanted to go, you had to go on that plane.
That's fair. I read, too, when you were 91, along that trip, was the first time you ever stood in the ocean. Is that true?
Nah.
But at Halifax, you would have saw the ocean, no?
Oh, yeah, no. On the ocean, I haven't seen this. What is Atlantic or Pacific kind of?
The Pacific is on the west coast, and the Atlantic is on the east coast.
Well, I was in the Atlantic, Nova Scotia.
But you'd never seen the Pacific before.
Well, yeah, I was in the Pacific because when the two kids are, or one was two and three, we made a trip by car out to Vancouver Island. But, granddad lives out there. Oh, what the... We had to go across it to the island.
Across the ferry to the island. Vancouver Island is a very, very beautiful place.
Wasn't it too bad then? Probably for a end up in Victoria. Oh, what the... God lived about halfway down.
You're talking on Vancouver Island? Like Nanaimo? Was it a big or a small place?
Just a small place.
North or south of Victoria?
North.
Well, we got technology. Let's see if we can't just find it.
I told Grandma up to Victoria to see. Duncan.
Duncan?
Duncan.
Duncan, BC.
That must be in the 50s. Sometime.
Yeah, north along the main road. Anyways. That must have been quite the sight as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about your parents, even your grandparents, because your parents would have been born in the 1800s then.
Yeah.
What was some of the lessons maybe they passed along to you or tried to instill in you?
What was that again?
What were some of the lessons? Like, what was some of the advice your parents gave to you?
Oh, I don't know. We just live day by day, and I don't think they tell us what to do and not to do.
Did you have, growing up, an influential person on your life, though, Vern? Like, was there somebody who you admired, how they carried themselves, or the things they said, the way they treated people?
No, not really. I had two uncles that weren't very good. Both ended up in jail. A few put their time in, but different things that, like stealing gas and stuff. But otherwise, I think we did pretty good as a family as a whole.
Yeah.
For I had four uncles. Uncle Wally, his farm was bad. And Roy, he worked around after for a while. Then he ended up in BC working for the. I think he helped to put the power lines in the mountains. Gordon. He was a big bucker. He ended up in BC. I think I was 12 years old when he said goodbye to him. Then I had one in Saskatoon and one in New York. The States. I guess that's where, I don't know, Greg's residents from the States. Then they farmed around Barrie, Ontario, before he moved up here.
He was in New York, then he went to Barrie, Ontario, and then he moved over here?
They came here. They farmed in Barrie. Before he brought all his horses that out from Ontario.
Yeah.
Some in Sydney.
How about winter back then? You know, we've been having a very mild winter. It has been rather enjoyable. But currently, it dipped down to minus, 35 last night.
Well, that's still warm.
So what was cold back then?
Well, 40, 45 below. Not Celsius.
You're talking Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Why are you talking in Fahrenheit? Did you used to go by Fahrenheit back then?
No, hell, just, I don't know, what, last 15 years or so, they changed over. We never had two temperatures.
It was always Fahrenheit, or it was always Celsius? Always Fahrenheit? When I've been doing these interviews, I always bring up the cold because I didn't realize your houses back in the day were cold. Were just cold.
Yeah.
Is that something that just you can just remember that instantly and remember, yeah, the house, like on a minus 45 night, you had to have the wood fire just a howling.
There to go. Wanted to go out and get up in the morning, water on the stove. I formed ice. No.
So inside your house, you'd have, when the fire went out, the next morning you'd wake up and there'd be ice on the
Yeah.
stove, on the water pot.
Yeah. And we had to go to school. I went regardless. horse and cutter, snow,
As high as the table.
lots of windows you can see the fence. No. And it stayed that way for days on time. We had to get up, had to go over to used to thrash stockpiles out in the field. And then in the wintertime, go out with a team and hay racks, they call it. Get a load of straw to feed the animals.
So you'd have to go out into the field and dig up where you'd left hay stashed up. And that's how you'd feed cattle in the winter. Did you ever run out of hay to feed the cattle in the winter? Did you ever run out of feed?
Yeah, 1 or 2 years, Dad had a haul stall for 5 miles away. But old Bill Saunders used to farm out here on Marshall. They had that, the big lake, big blue, and they used to go dry. He did that to oats. Get a well of a crop, then he sell the straw. Going by a straw pile of straw, then haul it 20 miles, 10 miles. Because maybe we got 2 or 3 bushels an acre. We didn't know what 10 bushels an acre crop was.
You would have had no power, no running water.
No. When the telephone come in, they used the barbed wire fences for wire.
They used the barbed wire fences for wire on the telephone lines.
Yeah, for what? One of the first. Well, they didn't have the equipment to put the posts in.
So how did they get the posts in? How did they get the posts in?
Well, after a while, they
By hand? Dug each post hole by hand?
yeah.
Do you remember the first phone call your parents got? Or that you got, like, can you remember?
No.
No.
The first radio, I forget. That was just a battery operated one. Then they had to take it to town and get charged up. They could, for the guy that had a bit of a power plant in Lyford to light the town up. But you wanted a battery charge, so you had to take it there to.
How long did it take for a battery to recharge? Was that a day trip? You walk in, hand it off, and...
I forget now. But
Did you listen where you Did you grow up listening to Foster Hewitt on the radio? The NHL? The original 6 of the NHL were on the radio on Saturday nights. Did you listen to Foster Hewitt?
Okay, yes we did, but I forget now. Well, I went home for four winters. I was in the Air Force. I didn't have a radio. I didn't know what the hell. We didn't have any radios in the barracks or anything, so we didn't know what was going on. And in the cottage, we didn't have no outside.
So what did you do for fun in the Air Force? I mean, when you're not working on planes and whatever else you were doing in the Air Force, what did you guys do? You must have had some days where you have, a Sunday off, or did you have leave days to go into Halifax?
Didn't do too much. Once in a while, would go into Lethbridge and for something to do, but no other place to go. And there was nothing else doing, for we didn't have any. No ball, nothing.
During the war years, there wasn't a whole lot of anything going on.
No.
Is it similar to this, where there's not a whole lot of anything going on?
I have no idea what.
Well, there's no hockey, no
Well,
restaurants are closed down.
maybe, during the war, the cafes could be open, beer parlors, all that was open. They weren't closed down like they are today. That's what I say. This is pretty worse than the war. Because we aren't allowed to go here or there. But they're doing it. And that's what's going to prolong this
Longer.
longer. For the, some people decide to sit here, or some of them they don't know what sit still is.
Do you know what sit still is? I just find that statement right there very interesting, because you're right. For probably 20, maybe even longer than that, maybe 30 years, Canada is not a group of people that sit still. We're constantly doing things.
Yeah.
Do you remember a time where you had to sit still?
No, not really. Myself, I'm not sitting still.
Yeah, you just got your driver's license. You still got your driver's license.
Yeah.
So where do you go touring to?
I got my test here the other day, and I'm good to 22. I got it for 2 years.
You're just a rebel. You're gonna drive around and go wherever you want. You've earned it.
Yeah. If I want to go to the farm, I went to the farm yesterday. I had to get some papers signed for bringing up the company I had for him. And Marlatt is on the farm, and so I went out there yesterday morning to get the papers signed.
Yeah.
So if I want to go out here, see Dave Petty off and on now, or he lost his license because he can't see one eye. But so he likes company, so no.
By the looks of your story, golfing has played a huge part of it, or something that you've really enjoyed doing.
Well, last few years, I find this, I don't know what, a group, I forget now, go every Thursday. They have a bee or at different points,
Yeah.
like Cold Lake and Bonnyville, two or three little towns up there, Vernon, right, Ashford. Every Thursday we go as far as go. They pick me up where we go every Thursday.
Have you ever hit the elusive hole-in-one? Have you ever gotten a hole-in-one?
No,
Still searching for it.
now something I'll never do because I can't hit that far. I got a prize for the longest putt, about 20 feet, but more luck is good management.
You helped build the Lashburn Golf Course. Is that true?
Well, when we started last week, a bunch of us got together and said we were going to make a course. So it was pasture land and bush and stuff. So they got some engineer knew something about sticking out something, stuck out through the bush. And then somebody had a cat, cleaned the bush out. Then we had to burn bush and pick roots and got that all cleared away. There was about 40 acres broke on it already. Then we had to got a guy from Saskatoon and plot where to put the greens. Got that done. Then one year I think we planted 4,000 trees upward on the cultivated land. And then we made sand greens, We had to haul manure and sand and everything to make it green.
Manure
Yeah.
for fertilizer?
Now we haul in loads and loads of manure, mixed in with the
With the dirt or whatever?
sand.
Yeah. You must be very proud of that course then.
Oh, should be because it's all volunteer labor.
All volunteer labor to make the Lashburn Golf Course. Do you remember how much it cost initially to make? Was the land donated? Was
Well, the land cost us. The party charged us, I think the party's $4,000 for the land. He's a tough old bugger. Then he could go around. I get the golf course, this land and that. He gave it all right. We had to find money to pay for the land, but the rest was
all labor, all free labor, all guys donating their time?
land.
Something special about small communities when they come together and build projects like that.
Yeah. Then a few years we had just side greens and then we put it in the water. Pipes and that. It's oil company give us the pipes. Like they had put out wells. So, all the different companies were good to us. We had to buy the sprinklers and that, but the grass, after we got the grass, we had to buy more. But once you got the boards, that was all volunteer labor to cut the grass and keep it down.
When did you meet your wife? When did you meet Bernice?
Much in the 40s.
Do you remember what it was about her?
Oh, we used to have school dances and that. We used to go to different schools for different dues.
Yeah.
I guess it's at one of those, I guess.
Do you remember if there was something special about her? Why she was the one?
No, not really.
She tolerated you?
So, just one of those things that happens.
You were married for 65 years, is that correct, Vernon?
69.
69 years.
Got married at 44.
What could you tell people, whoever stumble across this conversation about 69 years of marriage? Is there any advice you could pass along?
No. Well, just have to. I had some hard times and good times. And not all more roses. No, you had to take the good with the bad, stick together.
How about having kids? I have 3 little ones. Well, the oldest is closing in on 5 now, I guess. He turns 5 in April. I know I certainly worry about things now. You're a guy who has grown kids now. What was parenthood like for you? And still like for you, for that matter? Because now you're, what, a grandparent? Great-grandparent?
Yeah.
Great-grandparent. So you got to see a lot of generations come through, which must be a pretty
Yeah.
surreal experience.
Yeah. No. Well, I feel sorry for those that haven't got any or can't have any. For once they get going up, well, yeah, they have somebody to fall back on. Like Karen, well, see, taking care of me now. She got me here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you. Or,
Yeah.
no. You have to pick the good with the bad. We lost a boy when he was 19 years old. And I tried to miss up. He just finished his high school, and I don't think he's seen his diploma. We're both working out at Penalty's plant out north of Ashburn. And they had chores to do with it. Then there's some stones in the ditch down the road. I had a front-end loader tractor, brand new one. So we took the truck and the tractor down, moved these stones. And there's 2 big ones that we loaded the truck and I went unload them. There was a couple of stones up the road and the ditch. I said, you can go and get them while I unload the stones, which she did. And then coming home, I unloaded them. Dinner time, I seen him coming, so I just went up. And he never got home. Ended up in the ditch. We don't know what happened. Had a heart attack or so. Holiday day, we couldn't get any help. But it's just one of those things. He stayed with his mother. I worked at the CD's plant for, I don't know, 15, 16 years at nights. So he's company for mother. Then, but he's working to go to college, which he didn't see. So. But that was one of the hard points in life. second mother because he was so close to her.
I don't think any parent wants that. Well, actually, I know no parent wants that. It's the worst nightmare.
Yeah. Well, it's just like that.
Yeah. How quickly the world can turn.
Yeah. It seemed to be big. He was about 6 foot tall and pretty strong, good athlete. We're driving the saucer, I think, up at Casey's plant or the Pepsi plant. And I was 2, so. No. When they go, kind of a shocker.
Yeah. What's one of the happiest days you can remember? Happiest.
Happy day?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Can't pick any one day out.
It's been a pretty good life then.
Oh yeah, we had. I had to work, make ends meet. There's no, maybe about it. But I worked nights at the cheesing plant. Then I worked at the pending plant. So then for it, and then no, 5 or 6 cows all the time, and pigs. No. I really haven't had an easy life, but it hasn't hurt me.
Well, you've had longevity. Let me tell you, 98 years is... I hope you get another 98 years and can become one of those guys. But like I say, I've been sitting here talking to people right around your generation, right around that 90 to 95, and the stories just never cease to amaze me. I appreciate you coming in and doing this. Is there anything else that, we've talked for a little over an hour and closing in an hour and a half. Is there anything else that you think? I say this all the time. It's hard to encapsulate a life in even an hour and a half. But is there anything else, Vernon, that you'd like to talk about?
Oh, no, I went to Tyrone School for 9 years.
Tyrone School?
Yeah. So, of course, my grade 9 correspondence, those days, high school was taught. Had to go to Lashman, but we could take correspondence to the local school. I got my grade 9, then Dad sent me to agriculture.
So instead of taking high school, you went to Lakeland College.
Vermilion, well, they called it Vermilion School of Agriculture then.
Okay. What do you remember about Tyrone, the country school? Another one-room schoolhouse?
Yeah,
How far did you have to travel to get to Tyrone?
mile and a half. Yeah. One year there was, I think there's 32 of us from grade 1 up to grade 9. One teacher.
One teacher, yeah. Poor old one teacher.
Now, one teacher has 10 kids, she's complaining. Just one grade. And they get $200 a day. Those days, if they got $20 a month, some of the teachers hardly get left. I think some of them, they get $400 a year.
I just had a funny thought come through my brain. Do you remember the first Coke you ever tried? Coca-Cola. Pop. Were you ever a pop drinker? Were you ever a sweets guy? What did you guys have for, I don't know, not dessert, but something along that lines? A donut. Nothing like that? You never went to ice cream? Go to town for an ice cream cone?
Well, maybe went to town once a week or once a month, and they got 2 bits. So maybe we got ourselves an ice cream cone or something. But the soft drinks, I don't remember any. Cokes or
Don't remember any of that.
not during the 30s.
Especially not during the 30s.
So, no. I don't know if there's such a thing or not.
You mentioned way back at the start, going back to your time in Halifax and in the Air Force, that after the war was done, you guys were preparing for the war with Japan. So was Canada planning on joining the U.S. in the fight against Japan?
I'm not too sure. All I know is these big Lancasters came
Yeah, the bombers came back.
into trade for there. And how far they got, I don't know. But shortly after that, the States dropped those 2 bombs.
Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was said back then when that happened?
No, for I was out on the farm and it's just another
Just another day.
day.
What is maybe a final one here? In Canada, what is maybe one of the biggest changes you've seen in your lifetime?
biggest chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, they big combines and big tractors.
Enough to hurt the brain?
Well, I walked out in the field this harvest, and there's $2 million worth of machinery sitting in that field. Three combines, 2 big tractors, big wagon to catch the grain. So I think there was 3 semis that catch.
Yeah, that are loading and unloading at all times.
No, that's more money than I've seen in my lifetime, personally. And here, my nephew was pretty $2 million worth of. I was sitting in the field. What he had home? Big dryer, 2 big augers.
Your final one, then, before I let you go, is if you have advice for anyone, what over almost 99 years would you pass along? What's something you would say has lived the test of time?
Oh, you just have to day by day take what comes. You haven't got to say. I'm sitting here. I have to go outside. Take what's outside there. I have no control. You just have to take day by day and for big plans can be broken. And that, as soon as you plan something, and a lot of people plan, and then materialize, and then they go all wacky.
Go wacky when their plans don't come to fruition.
No,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'm just lucky, that's all. I seen the good, I seen the bad, so
That's life, isn't it?
so
Well, I appreciate you coming in, Vernon, and sitting down and doing this with me.
well, I got lots of time. I got more time than money.
Well, thanks again for sitting in and sharing some of your life with me.
Good.
Hey, folks, thanks for joining us today. If you just stumbled on the show, please click subscribe. Then scroll to the bottom and rate and leave a review. I promise it helps. Remember, every Monday and Wednesday, we will have a new guest sitting down to share their story. The Sean Newman Podcast is available for free on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcast fix. Until next time.